Hi, this is Nathan with American West Realty and Management. Today we're going to walk through two important documents you'll sign with us, the Wyoming Brokerage Disclosure and our Property Management Agreement, specifically the parts that tend to raise the most questions. First, let's talk about the Brokerage Disclosure. This is a state-required notice that explains the different ways a real estate broker can work with you. In your case, we're going to work with you as the landlord's agent. That just means that we represent you and we owe you duties like good faith, loyalty, and confidentiality within the limits of the law. When we work with tenants, they're usually our customers, not our clients. We still treat them honestly and fairly, and we disclose material facts, but we don't represent them, and we don't owe them confidentiality. The key takeaway to this is that you're our client. Our loyalty is to you. The state law requires us to explain how we may also interact with tenants and what we can and can't share with each side. Next is the Property Management Agreement. This is our roadmap, what we're allowed to do for you, what you're responsible for, and how we get paid. It gives us exclusive authority to advertise, lease, and manage the property, so there's no confusion about who's in charge of day-to-day decisions. It spells out term and termination, leasing authority, money handling, maintenance approvals, owner responsibilities, fees, and guarantees. Let's hit the parts that owners most often ask about. Owners usually want to know how long they're going to be locked into a contract and what they can do if they change their mind. Our agreement has an initial term of 6 months and then continues on a month-to-month until either of us gives written notice. This is to protect us from owners taking advantage of our hard work up front and then walking away. If you cancel before we place a tenant, you'll forfeit the setup fee that covers the work done up until that point. If you cancel after we've placed a tenant, but before the initial management period is up, there's a termination fee equal to the management fees we would have earned during that initial period. And then finally, there's an owner exit fee that applies to any termination at any point. This is a flat dollar amount that covers the administrative work of closing out your account, transferring all the documents and keys and funds back to you, and then maintaining records in accordance with Wyoming statutes. The idea is to give you flexibility to leave, but it also protects the time and costs we've invested in setting up and tenant placement. Another common question is whether an owner is going to be involved in approving the tenants. The fact is, you're going to authorize us to market the property, accept applications, and screen them without needing your case-by-case approval. We're allowed to negotiate and sign leases on your behalf, but always with your interests in mind. We'll sign 1-year leases unless we specifically negotiate something different with your permission. We don't share the tenant's full application or credit report with you because of Federal Fair Credit Reporting Act and privacy rules, but we will give you a summary of who's been selected, when they move in, how much they're paying, etc. The key point is that you're hiring us to be decisive and consistent with written criteria, so you don't have to be involved in every application and risk fair housing or privacy issues. Now, money flow is another big area for questions. All the funds we collect on your behalf go into a trust account separate from our own funds as required by law. Out of those funds we collect, we pay authorized bills like repairs, management fees, and other agreed expenses, and then we'll distribute your net funds directly into your designated account. Your funds are paid out for the month after they are collected, so October rent is paid out the first day of November. This ensures we have funds on hand to cover bills this month. You'll receive a detailed monthly statement and an annual 1099 and financial summary for tax purposes every January. If your account ever goes negative, for example, you have a large repair or vacancy that exceeds the rent collected, you're committing to send funds to bring it current. There may be penalties if a negative balance is not cleared within the time allowed. The goal is transparent accounting, predictable payout timing, and clear rules for how we'll handle shortfalls. Owners also want to ask about repairs and how they're approved. Our agreement sets a dollar threshold, so we're going to seek your approval for any non-emergency repairs over a certain amount, which is currently $400. We'll make a reasonable effort to reach you, and we usually have a defined window of 48 hours for you to respond. If we don't hear back from you, you're authorizing us to proceed when necessary to protect the property and comply with the lease and the law. For larger projects over a higher dollar amount, like $1,000, we'll require you to deposit funds in advance. For emergencies that affect the life, health, or serious property damage, you're authorizing us to act first and then notify you as soon as practical. This balance allows us to respond quickly to protect you and the property while still giving you control over bigger spending decisions. Here are a few owner obligations that often surprise people. First, you must maintain landlord insurance and liability coverage and list American West Realty as additional insured or co-insured. And if you fail to do that, you will be enrolled in our master liability program at a stated monthly cost. You confirm that the property is safe, habitable, and code compliant, and you agree to keep it that way. You also promise to disclose any known issues that could affect value or safety. For tenant-occupied properties at onboarding, you'll need to provide us with the security deposits, copies of the lease, and any related documents within a set number of days. All tenant communication goes through our office. Unilateral owner contact with tenants can undermine enforcement and may trigger an administrative fee per occurrence as outlined in the agreement. These provisions help keep liability clear, communication consistent, and everyone on the same page. It's also going to protect you as the owner. Finally, many owners want to know about the fee list and what they're getting in return. To start off, there's a setup fee for new clients. This will cover the onboarding, photos, our initial inspections and documentation of the property, system setup, arranging for cleaning and repairs, etc. A new lease fee and renewal fee cover marketing, screening, documentation, renewal inspections, and market analysis. Your monthly management fee is typically a percentage of rent collected, and that covers the rent collection, routine coordination, inspections, and maintenance oversight. In return, you're also going to receive specific guarantees, such as a leasing time guarantee, lease fulfillment, limited coverage for eviction filing costs, a lost rent backstop up to a cap, a pet damage guarantee, and more, each with clearly defined conditions. This structure is designed so you know exactly what you're paying for and what you're getting in exchange. Please review your property management agreement to learn more about each of these items. So that's a quick overview of the brokerage disclosure and our management agreement, focused on the sections that most often raise questions. If anything in your copy of the agreement is unclear, please write down your questions and send us an email. We'll be happy to clarify before you sign or even after you've signed. Speaking of questions, in our next lesson, I'm going to cover how we communicate directly with you as an owner.